right, we're here with 2008 Olympic gold medalist Lindsay Shoop, whose new book, "Better Great Than Never: Believing It's Possible Is Where Champions Begin," comes out today. For those of us who don't know or may not know, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in the sport of rowing.
Yeah, I grew up in the country. I'm from Virginia originally. I know there are a lot of people in Virginia that row now in DC area. Grew up in the country playing with mostly boys. I grew up playing every sport you can possibly imagine, a dozen or so growing up. But then ultimately, I was actually didn't think I was good enough to play a sport in college, so left sports behind after high school. Spent about 2.5 years wandering through college down many aimless paths until I very serendipitously, won't explain it because it's in the book, very serendipitously bumped into the rowing coach at the University of Virginia. He suggested I try rowing. I picked it up when I was 20 years old at UVA, and I was insecure and overweight before I started rowing. And then just took it one day at a time from there. Ended up making my first world's team 3 years after I picked up the sport. Won my first world championships with my teammates and the women's eight after that, and then started that 11-year streak of the women's eight not losing. So for me, ultimately from the elite level, was involved in 3 world titles, a former world record, the Olympic championship, and then now we're in the rowing Hall of Fame, which is pretty crazy, pretty unbelievable. Truth be told.
What was it about rowing that kept you there? You made that initial leap and went down to the boathouse to find out what it was all about. What was it about the sport that kept you there?
Two main things. Team, first of all, I felt like I found my people. I felt so invited. At first, it was incredibly intimidating. Everyone has their first day. Again, it's a story in the book. I almost ran away on my first day of rowing practice. I was overwhelmed and thought, my gosh, what am I doing here? And then the team really at the University of Virginia invited me in, and it made me feel more comfortable. I, from the more than any other sport I ever played, rowing was the one where when I get involved, I could get better every day through what I was doing. If I wasn't technically getting better, I was physically getting better. If I wasn't physically getting better that day, I was mentally learning something. So I was able to get a little bit better every single day. And that made me more excited every single day about the person I was becoming as a result of what I was doing.
So ultimately, you wound up making the Olympic team and winning
Yeah.
the Olympic gold medal. Just talk a
Yeah.
little bit about your experience in Beijing, and what are the things that most stand out about that experience?
A couple of things about the Olympics in particular, it's the pinnacle. Every athlete there, whether you're an NBA star or a fencer or a synchronized swimmer or a BMX, whatever you are, every country all over the world, it is the pinnacle. And everybody looks at each other in awe. Oh my gosh, look how strong and athletic and look how great this person is at what they're doing. Every single one of us is a hero in each other's eyes. I thought that was incredibly unexpected because I'm just me. I'm like this kid from Virginia that did this thing with my teammates. I would say after winning, I still haven't fully comprehended what we've done because something like 0.000005% of the population might win the Olympic Games. My emotions are amplified to the nth degree, and I'm fully convinced, and this is what has really helped me get through the book, fully convinced of impossible things, that impossible things are impossible. One step at a time with the patience, they really can happen. And that's a really fun theme that I get to talk about in the book.
So yeah, tell us what motivated you to write the book now, and what was that process like?
I can't tell you the number of times that while writing the book, I stared at all of the things that I had to do and create and thought to myself, oh my gosh. And then I would step back and go, you won the Olympics. How did that happen? One day at a time. Write the book one day at a time. Do the best that you can with what you have. And so there have been a lot of parallels with training for the Olympics and writing this book, let alone now trying to get it out to the world and share it with people. But it really does. It happens one person at a time, one day at a time. I can't reiterate enough that I hope that this book can even give 1% of an iota of an experience of how important my teammates have been and all the people involved in this process have been to me. Without the entire team, that's coaches and family and friends and athletes and teammates included, that have allowed this to really happen. to write the book now. Why now? As a lot of weird little opportunities started coming my way, as if the universe was saying, this needs to happen right now, right? It's about possibility. It's about hope, all on the backdrop of, it's never too late to change the way we perceive ourselves and then take it one step at a time from there, all on the backdrop of Olympic rowing. So hopefully, I've been able to educate people through this as well, not just about what it's like to be inside the brain of an Olympic athlete, to experience what the Olympics is like, but, the training and rowing, right? To help people understand this really incredible sport.
You kind of talked a little bit about this in your last answers, but what are the key themes or takeaways that you hope people get from this book?
Ultimately, possibility, possibility that it really is. And I'll reiterate this again because it's so important, is that it is never too late to remove our self-imposed limitations, to get rid of the assumptions that we make about ourselves and allow others to have about us. Because, at the end of the day, you step back and you remind yourself that this is where I am today and I'm capable of this as long as I just manage this thing. The fact that there is greatness within all of us, we just need to find our outlet to express that.
Besides the book, obviously that's been taking up a lot of your time, but what else are you up to now?
There are more books in me, this book stops after the Olympics, about a couple of weeks after the games. So you do get a little sense of what it's like after the games too. But there's more story. I had planned on going back for a second games. That's a very different experience. It's a very different book. That one will be more about the now what moment, the embracing of, wow, I have been an athlete my whole life. And for the first time, this isn't building me up. What happened there? So there's definitely at least one or two more books, if not kids' books involved. But I'm also, I coach, working on, rowing and movement technique to help people stay really healthy, but also self-care and mentally healthy, and how all of those things come into play into performance in sport and beyond. I'm also working on doing more speaking, because to get this story out there is so important. I also do ocean rescue, which is, it's purposeful athleticism. There's no limit to how fast you need to be when it comes to a life and death situation. I mean, the ocean is a big thing. It's something I've always wanted to do. So I write, I coach, I speak and share as much as possible, and I do ocean rescue. I have hopped in the water and saved people's lives. So it's insanely empowering.
Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's Christmas, Christmas is right around the corner. So this book is definitely something to share with your friends and family, your teens, through winter training. There's a lot about winter training in here and what that feels like. But you can find it obviously on Amazon and other booksellers and retailers worldwide. If you have questions, find me on one of my websites and I'm happy to answer them. During the first week of the launch, so that's this week, you can get the ebook for $1.99. So that's something I'm doing because I want to encourage whole teams to read it together, or whole families to read it together. Maybe you have a brother or sister, somebody you want to share it with. I would love to see that happen and help people understand our sport and get a little inspiration for possibility through it.
Great. And to add to that, if you head to the @US Rowing Instagram page, we're going to be giving out a free signed copy of the book, as well as a 30-minute Zoom session with Lindsay for you, your friends, family, your team, to talk about the book, to talk about rowing, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So that'll be done over the next week here on US Rowing's Instagram page.
Yeah.
Well, great, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us today. Better Great Than Never, Believing It's Possible is Where Champions Begin is available online starting today at Amazon.com and all other major booksellers.
Yeah, worldwide.
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 Thanks a lot, Lindsay.
Thanks, Brett.